Hello, friends, and welcome back. This is episode 0 of a new series of Battle Brothers using the Legends mod. And in this episode, this is going to be a short one, and I'm giving you, the viewers and subscribers, the option to choose which path I take. I'm giving 5 options, all with their own pros and cons, and this will be a series that runs parallel to the other Battle Brothers series, but this one will have Legends and the other will be vanilla with 0 mods. And another part is that I want you to be part of this campaign. This is going to be a campaign where I'm more role-playing than min-maxing. I'm not a big min-maxer anyway, but I want to be role-playing in a way that makes sense for the characters. I'm not going to be, changing my voice or making any cutscenes or anything like that. I'm still just going to be playing the game, but I want to be able to use perks that I don't normally use and perks that aren't available in the vanilla game in a way that makes sense for each of the brothers. And I also want you, the viewers and the subscribers, to be a part of it by using your names. If you want to have a named character in this campaign, then please let me know in the comment section on top of which option you like best. So first, I'm going to go over some of the configurations and rules of the series, of the campaign. First up is it's a random party. So these 5 options are following this rule that there are going to be 1 to 6 party members within the mercenary band. They will have random backgrounds, random equipment, random perks, and random supplies. Although the random supplies doesn't change all that much. It does change a little bit from time to time. The late game crisis, I have random at the moment, and I think I will keep it as random, but depending on the map seed that we choose, I think I might choose one that I'd like to have happen to the party. The permanent destruction box is going to be checked. I haven't used it, or haven't seen it being used later in the game, so I assume that this can change the economy a little bit, and we have some other checkboxes later that will go with permanent destruction. Economic difficulty is going to be at expert. I've been finding that this is a bit better than veteran for the Legends mod. Combat difficulty, I'm going to keep at veteran because although I did play a bit of expert while I was testing and learning about it, I feel like I haven't learned enough, so I'm going to go with veteran. Starting funds I'm going to keep at high. This is because I'd rather not spend 10 or 20 days just trying to get some money and scrounging around looking for easy contracts that will give us the most money. So starting funds, this way we can actually hire and purchase more gear. It'll help out with the first couple of days anyway. As always, Iron Man is unchecked, but we will continue to play as Iron Man, following the Iron Man rules. The map configurations are as follows, pretty much. I've upped faction limit to 5 instead of 3, because I want to have some more options. I've been having fun actually messing around with some of the noble houses, and with just 3 factions, it kind of limits a huge portion of the map if you become hostile to an entire house. So having 5 houses will have a smaller portion of the map that you stay away from if I go into the path of attacking a noble house on my own. Landmass ratio I upped from 50 to 60 because there's more settlements. I feel like the more landmass is actually better. I haven't touched water, and snowline I went from 85 to 90, basically for the same reason that since I didn't change the number of settlements for the limit, but because there's going to be more settlements most likely than normal, then pushing the snow line closer to the north is just going to help with some of that middle section or the central section of the map to have more space for its settlements. I haven't really decided unexplored map. I like the idea because this is kind of a random campaign, but it might depend on which one of the choices you choose. If there's a noble, then they probably have a good idea of what the noble houses are and the locations. Looking at maps from through their childhood, they probably have an idea, so unexplored map wouldn't really work for them. But if it's a poor kind of group, then unexplored map might be a good option. All trade buildings available. I like this. I really like this, particularly if they're going to be destroyed, as we started at the beginning. Permanent destruction. I like that all of them are going to be available and that we might lose some along the way. Yeah. Plus, that with world economy is, I just feel like to make the world a living and breathing place or thing, then having a world economy that can change, although they have everything at the start, it can change throughout the campaign. Dynamic perks, of course. Layered armor, of course. I'm getting rid of the scaling because I feel like it's a bit non-linear. If we have like a really good haul from a fight, then we're going from it's going to be a stepwise jump in scaling, and I'd rather see some linear scaling than non-linear or stepwise, which would be distancing and equipment. We're going to skip the tutorial. Recruit scaling, I don't really know if this is going to come into play around the time of the crisis. Maybe we'll be able to hire somebody like a lowborn that has a level or two available. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm clicking it just to see what happens towards the crisis. Bleeds count as kills. I think that's pretty obvious. The world economy, I really like this idea with the other options before. All crafting recipes unlocked. I like the fact that it's a menu rather than a guessing game. I understand that we don't know what's available, so we go to a taxidermist and say, this is what I have, but it'd be nice to talk to the taxidermist once in a while and say, what else can we make, right? So I like the idea of it being a menu, and with Legends, there's just too many to try and keep in our heads, so all crafting recipes unlocked. I think it makes sense. Legend magic, I like this. I haven't played too much with it, and I'm not sure if we will, but as the option, it's there. Therianthropy is off for now, but if I see that enough people really want it as part of the campaign, as part of this campaign in particular, then I'll consider it at least. Right, so let's take a look at the options. So the first option here, and we're going to call this the Skjold option, or the first option, depending on how you want to look at this. Brings us 3 brothers and sisters, or does it? So the first brother is a donkey named Elfhild, and I find this one to be kind of funny, where we start off with a donkey. I have never seen these donkeys before. A friend of mine was talking about these donkeys, and saying that they can go into battles. I just find that hilarious. And the fact that I found one in one of these random seeds, these random parties, is even better. So we start off with a donkey, and it's accompanied by a Holy Crusader. The Holy Crusader is ambitious, has an undead killer trait, iron lungs, and loyal. I mean, I don't think you could get many better perks than those, and in combination, they're just phenomenal. And the best part, I think, is that he is accompanied by a nun, who is Spartan and short-sighted. Sure, I think those are whatever, but it kind of, the story that immediately pops into my head is Martin the Crusader and Genevieve have run away from normal society because they have fallen in love. I think that is the immediate thing that I see here. And of course, society is going to hate this, a nun being involved with a man in general, but a Holy Crusader who has probably taken an oath to celibacy, as well as the nun. So I feel like this by itself is just such a great story. Martin the Crusader, Genevieve, and their donkey who's carrying their equipment, Elfhild. So this is option number 1, or the Skjold option. Oh, right. I found this was pretty funny. The permanent trait for the donkey is donkey body. The character is a donkey. It can't use weapon, shields, ammunition, or armor. That's, I think, pretty obvious, but great. Appetite of a donkey, so if you stop feeding it, it's going to leave you. It's a huge donkey and a dastard. I don't know if these traits are pretty common for the donkey. I assume that appetite of a donkey and donkey body are probably. But huge and dastard, I just find that to be hilarious. Ah, see, donkey kick. So you can bring it into battle and you can use it for attacks. And it does come with a free level up. I'm not going to show any of this stuff to keep it relatively shorter, but yeah. So that was the Skjold option. The Crusader is none. Girlfriend, perhaps? None. And their donkey. Okay, on to option number 2, the Holmwik option. And this is also a 3-party option. A 3-person option. And the thing that I found interesting about this party is the weapons, but then the backgrounds. So the 2 weapons that we start off with are rondel daggers. This isn't necessarily a weapon that I use on a regular basis, and the fact that we get to start off with 2 rondel daggers is pretty amazing. I think that's a great start. Not only, we don't need to be using them immediately, we could put spears or any other weapon in their hand, but we could keep these as kind of a backup weapon as well. And they're a pretty strong backup weapon if used in that way, particularly with puncture, right? But in this one, the story I think that unfolds here is Savory is a noble who has a fear of undead, but is disloyal and has the trait noble killer. So he is from a noble family, but he hates nobles. So he left his family behind. He left his titles behind, his lands and everything that came with it, to join up with Helgi, who is an assassin. And them both starting off with the rondel daggers makes it very easy to see that Helgi is the teacher of Savari. So Savari would be in a apprenticeship of to become an assassin. The assassin comes with unpredictable, which gives more initiative, but also a 5% chance to hit in the head. Ambitious, with it, which is even more initiative, more resolve and experience gain. Loyal, and quick. I mean, quick with ambitious and unpredictable, that is a lot of initiative. And he even comes with 2 stars in initiative, on top of 2 stars in melee skill and 1 star in melee defense, and actually 2 more stars in range skills. So this is 4 skills that come with these stars, which is pretty great. I mean, this one's not going to be too useful, but... So Helgi is the teacher of Savari. Savari was a noble person, a nobleman, who left his titles behind, his family behind, and perhaps even wants to take revenge on the nobles of the lands. This one I'm having a little bit more hard time with is Thankmar. Thankmar is just kind of the third leg of the party. He's joined in, and he has a fear of nobles. So he particularly doesn't like Savari. So probably was a friend of Helgi's beforehand, and then Savari came in, disowning his family and his titles to join Helgi and Thankmar. Perhaps Thankmar does not appreciate this too much. Thankmar is charming, however, on top of his fear of nobles. And he is a bowyer as well, so we do have that chance of that event coming up where he could start making a bow, but we do start off with a hunting bow, so that's pretty strong. Right. So again, this was option number 2, Holmwik. Alright, so option number 3, or the Norheim option. This one starts off with 5 brothers and sisters, and this one is interesting because of the types here. It seems to be more of a grouping, right? But it kind of follows more of a fantasy kind of following, or a group of people that are randomly thrown together for a quest. So I found this one to follow kind of some normal fantasy cliches, and I still kind of like it. I find this one to be pretty interesting. So we're going to start off with Bjorn. Now Bjorn is a sword master who is disloyal and greedy, so he's kind of a jerk, right? But he knows how to fight. He knows how to put up a fight. He knows how to duck and weave, right, and dodge. But he's being followed by his squire, Tutor. Tutor is the apprentice of Bjorn, who is, following Bjorn because he is the sword master. He's his, not necessarily master, but he was a knight and has just recently fallen out of knightship, perhaps. And Thuderic is still by his side. He is loyal. He is also strong and bloodthirsty. So he's out to, when we jump into battle, he is out to win, to show that, to show his teacher Bjorn that what he's learned has really stuck, right? Both of them have some pretty interesting stars. This one not so much, but 2 in melee defense. He's already at 82. I mean, come on. That's a pretty good roll. And Thuderic has 3 stars in melee skill, 1 in melee defense, and then 1 in resolve as well. So it appears that he has learned, or he's going to be a quick learner. However, then we have Signe, the Vala, who is seductive and huge, apparently, which is even better that she's seductive. I'm obviously thinking of Brienne of Tarth with huge, but seductive, not so much Brienne of Tarth, right? And Elsa the Possessed, who is an Entrancer with steady hands and is aggressive. Now, this group obviously came into the group later than these two. It started off with these two, Bjarne and his squire Thudrik, who Signe and Elsa, perhaps they knew each other, perhaps they didn't. Maybe they all met at a tavern, where most D&D adventures start. And I don't know. I don't know anything about Entrancers. I don't know anything about Valas. I know that Valas can be pretty rare, and that's about all I know. So being able to play with these two kinds of sisters, in this case, from the start is a pretty rare occurrence, I think. So I'm eager to learn about them. I've looked a little bit about the perks. Whoops. Weren't supposed to see that. And yeah, I'm interested to seeing how they can work for both the Vala and the Entrancer. And finally, we have the Barbarian Raider. It doesn't necessarily mean he's a barbarian, but I'm just going to go with Barbarian as the fantasy trope should say. He's aggressive, but he is an optimist, so he does have a bit more resolve than he should. And aggressive. So I think the obvious case for him would be, I'm interested to see that he starts off with a military pick and wooden shield. I think if he had started off with a two-hander, it would have been very obvious to see him as that barbarian berserker kind of player or kind of character. So yeah, this group of 5 brothers and sisters, though they didn't all start off knowing each other, they have come to a point in their lives where they all have crossed paths and have the same goal in mind. All right, this was option number 3, Norheim. All right, number 4 is Stohlhoven. Stohlhoven for option number 4, and in this case we only have only one sister named Flandina, who is a gluttonous but survivor pickpocket. As you can see, she actually starts at level 5, so we're going to be able to level her up 4 times, gain 4 perks immediately. She does have 2 stars in melee skill, 1 in melee defense, and a couple stars in hit points. I think this is kind of a really good, a good one person to start off with, and I'm trying to be as flexible in the choices here. And this one, Flandina, is a pickpocket. She's out on her own. Perhaps she's looking for friends. Perhaps she's okay with being the rogue out and not having many friends. So she's left the towns behind. She's left the cities behind as a pickpocket in her past, and looking to do something else with her life. Maybe she's just come of age and decided that being a pickpocket for the rest of her life is not going to get her anywhere. So she's going out into the world, into adventure, and to experience new things in the wilderness. In this case, of course, I don't think I'd play as a lone wolf with Flandina, but perhaps, I mean, if that's available, and I haven't actually looked at this one, I just saw pickpocket and I thought, you know, this is great. In my testing, I did play as this a little bit, I have to admit, but as a different one. This is actually the second one I found, so I'm okay with choosing this one instead. So in this case, yeah, she's not very great with melee skill, but she definitely has potential to become something later on. So this is option number 4, Stohlhoven. And for the 5th and final option, is Jerstal. And this is only a 2-person party, and probably the worst of the 5. If you really want to see me struggle, this is probably one that would be good. This one is starting off with a tiny but loyal ranger. And Griffin's partner here is Skjold. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but Skjold. And she is a rat catcher who is also double-tongued and paranoid. So this actually kills her initiative. So she's not really the best rat catcher. But for some reason, Griffin has taken her under his wing. Perhaps this is brother and sister, and Griffin couldn't leave Skjold behind and took her out for the adventure. Skjold, not really the best hunter, was kind of left behind and probably chose to catch rats as her type of beast to slay, whereas Griffin, the Eagle Eye, became a ranger, probably not in a professional way, more as in just a normal hunter, but quite good at it, and will learn pretty quickly with the 3 stars in range skill. So this is going to be the 5th and final option. As you can see, they actually do have Hide the War Dog as another companion that they can take with them into battle. This would be probably the most painful, the most grinding at the beginning to try to get some more brothers and sisters into this band, and to figure out a way in order to hire other mercenaries or other people for the band. It would probably be more of a the ranger focus for playing the game. So again, this is the 5th and final option for Jerstal. And that does it. So those are the 5 options, or the 5 seeds. I will have the seeds written down at each during each explanation so that you can check them out as well. But in this way, this kind of gives you an idea of what my thought is for the next series, that is with the Legends mod. So if you want to participate, definitely let me know, because I want to be putting in some names for the characters. So those starting names would be changing, and then any hired mercenaries, their names are up for grabs for any viewers. And let me know which of the 5 that you like the most and you'd like to see in the Legends series. Now this is going to be a second Battle Brothers series that's running parallel to the vanilla Battle Brothers. I think I'm going to be doing 2 of these series, but this Legends one is going to be a little bit different than the way that I played the Series 4 or Season 4 of Battle Brothers in vanilla without any mods. So again, let me know which one you like the most, which one you want to see me playing. I think all of them have their ups and downs, their pros and cons, and each of them looks kind of fun in their own way. And I can see a story unfolding through the gameplay following these characters, these brothers and sisters of Battle Brothers. So with that, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time.